I think Coolsville sucks.
What you call an icon living? Puerto Rican legal mistress just did it. I love over 5 minutes. Whoa, we up to our in the
Hi guys, my name is Mayana and today I am going to be doing the best books I've read in 2019 so far. So if you've been watching my videos, you would know that I've been doing euphoria looks this week. And today my inspiration was Zendaya again. Well, not Zendaya, Rue. I love like when Rue actually does makeup because she always wears like a lot of glitter and I love glitter. Okay, so I don't really know if I like this one either. Like I like it a lot better than yesterday's, most definitely, but I don't know, I like it, but I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna post a video of what hers look like because you could see it better in the video. Anyways, so we're gonna get into all the best books that I read so far this year. I have read 121 books so far this year. I'm like a very not harsh, but I'm very like picky when it comes to rating books, and I wish I was one of those readers who just loved everything that they read, but I'm not. I don't want to say I'm critical, but I'm very picky. I'm a very picky person in general, so of course I'm going to be picky with my books and books that I call my favorites. I'm so picky to the point where just because I rated a book 5 stars does not mean it's categorized in my all-time faves. Like that is how picky I am. So I've read 121 books this year and only 19 of them have made it onto this list. And I had to choose some 4-star books because I didn't have enough 5-star books on this list. So that doesn't tell you much about me. Then yeah, I'm gonna get the first 2 books out of the way because I don't own them physically. But the first book I have is Boys of Berkshire High, and I rated this book 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely love this book. It's a dark romance, which y'all know I am trash for. I haven't read dark romance in a little bit, but I'm trash for dark romance. And this one is about a girl named Raven, and she gets kicked out of her school, and her mom is like a prostitute, so she's deemed that her mom can't take care of her. Also, her mom's just a bad person in general, so they move her to this town and she goes to a school named Brayshaw. She lives in like a girl's home and she goes to a school named Brayshaw where she meets these 3 guys who like run the school, and she ain't nobody's bitch, okay? So she does not listen to what anybody else says. Like she like literally the first half of the book is just her and them like messing around with each other and just getting under each other's skin, and I just absolutely loved it. There are some issues that I did have with the book, like Raven's character is definitely like I'm not like other girls type of character, and I really was not with that. But also she had a knife, and I stand girls with knives, so of course I absolutely loved the book. Like it's a good book, but it's trash, most definitely. So the next book I have is Fix Her Up, which I rated 5 stars. Typically I would have rated a 4-star, but the smut was so good that I had to rate it a 5. Fix Her Up is about a baseball player who is now like a reformed, like he's not a baseball player anymore, and a girl, what was her name? I don't remember her name, but yeah, basically she's trying to help him get out of like the rut that he's in now that he's not a baseball player anymore, and he is also her brother's best friend, and I am trash for that trope. And the smell was so good, and a lot of people don't like this book, but I thought it was good. And he always called her baby girl, which I absolutely love. Like whenever he called her, I was like, oh, like oh my gosh, like baby girl is just like the cutest nickname ever. The next book I have is The Poet X, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely love this book. I devoured it. This book is told in verse, and it is about a Afro-Latina, I believe. This basically just follows her. It's more like a coming of age story, and ironically this book doesn't have a plot, but I absolutely loved it. Like I loved the main character, and I felt like this book just touched on so many good topics, and I don't know, I never would have thought I would have loved this, but I absolutely loved it. Everything about it. And if you want to read about a Afro-Latina, then you should definitely check this out. Like it is a good story, okay? I just probably didn't describe it as well, but that's not all it's about, but it's really good. Next book I have is Radio Silence, which I also gave 5 out of 5 stars to, and this book is about a girl named Francine who is absolutely obsessed with this YouTube channel called University City, and she does like fan art for it, and one day she happens to meet the person who runs it and they become best of friends, and the channel ends up blowing up and becoming bigger than what they ever thought it would be. And I just love that because I feel like as a booktuber, I feel like I could relate that, and I feel like a lot of like YouTubers or booktubers can relate to that in general, just because it's just like, it's so weird going from being a nobody to being somebody who like people love and stan. Like, my channel isn't that big. I only have 7,000 subscribers, but I've gotten to the point where like people are freaking out because I'm replying to their comments, and I'm like, I literally only have 7,000 subscribers. Like, I reply to all of my comments all the time. Even if I just heart it, I can't figure out what to say. Like, I try to reply to all of my comments. But it's just so weird, like, getting to the point where people, like, I don't want to say care about you, but people like love you to the point where like they love your channel and they watch all of your videos, and it's just so insane. I feel like I related to the main character, the person who runs the channel in the first place, and I absolutely adored this book. This book also does not have a plot, but I read this book when I was on a plane. Also, this book was given to me by Jamie from Leo Reed, so of course I adore it because of that. But when I was on the plane, I was freaking out because I was so scared, and this book caught my attention so much where it took my attention off being on the plane, and I read this book in 2 hours. I read this 400-page book in 2 hours on the plane, and I also had some time to spare. Like, low-key, I had like 30 minutes to spare, and I absolutely adore this book. So this book is worth the hype that it has, and if you haven't picked up Radio Silence, you definitely should. The next book I have is The Unholy by Christina Lauren, and this book is in my all-time faves category, as you can see from the tabs. I absolutely love this book. This book is about a girl whose name is Olive, and she has a twin sister, and her twin sister is getting married. And her twin sister loves those deals. Like, she would definitely be on like those coupon shows. So she got a deal for like her meal for at the reception, I believe, and everybody ends up getting sick except for the groom's brother and Olive. The groom's brother and Olive do not like each other. Like, they hate each other, and the sister's sick, and she paid for this trip to Hawaii for their honeymoon. She has to, like, the sister has to go on the, Olive has to go on the trip for her sister, and she has to go with the groom's brother because they all have like the same last name. Well, not all of them, but you know what I'm trying to say, okay? And it was just so good. I loved it. I loved, what was his name? Ethan? I loved Olive and Ethan, and I loved the banter, and I related to Olive's character so much, especially because of like how like she's unemployed and how she always just feels unlucky, and she always just thinks about luck and stuff like that. Like, that is literally me. Like, when I read this, I was like, wow, like the authors take my personality and put it into this book, and I absolutely love this book. There were some parts that really annoyed me in this book, but I enjoyed it so much that I just like looked over it and I stopped caring. So that's how you know this was a good book, if I look over things. Next book I have is A Poppy War, which I gave 4.5 out of 5 stars, which the more I think about it, the more I want to just give it 5 stars, because it was just like, I can't stop thinking about this book, and I want to read the second book, but I'm kind of in a little bit of a reading slump. I mean, which is what you would expect out of someone who read 30 books in August. Like, I'm burning out at this point. So this book is about a fantasy world, and the fantasy world is like fantasy China and fantasy Japan, and they're basically at war. And this is like a military book, and it follows this girl named Ren, and it's basically just her through different stages in her life, like going through like college and like things like that. And I really enjoyed this, and I really enjoyed the characters and the banter, and I need to give this book a reread so I can tab it. I got the Dragon Republic, but since the last book doesn't come out for a while, I'm kind of just going to take my time with this series, especially because I'm absolutely in love with the author, and the last book comes out in 2020, so I'm just going to take my time with this series, basically. So it's going to be a while before I get to the Dragon Republic. The next book I have is The Right Swipe by Alicia Wright, and I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed this. This book is about a girl named Rhiannon, which by the whole time I was reading this book, I kept thinking of Rhiannon from Crescent Moon Reads, okay? But yes, this book is about a girl named Rhiannon, and she works for a dating company. She works for a dating app. And then it's also Simon, who works, his aunt's, I always say that he works for another dating app, but his aunt actually works for a different dating site, which Mina did a review of this. I'll link it down below, and in her review she said it's kind of like eHarmony, which is like the best way to compare it to. So his aunt's company is basically like eHarmony, and Rhiannon's basically is like Tinder. And so they kind of work together to, you know, try to, I don't know, they work together, they end up working together. And she hates him because he ghosted her. And I absolutely love it because I've been ghosted before and it's left me salty and bitter. And I've been ghosted a lot of times, guys. Like, it makes me bitter, okay? And so when I read this book, I really was like, I was rooting for her, okay? I was really rooting for her. The next book I have is The Woman in the Window, which is like the only thriller on this list so far. I like thrillers, but I haven't really read them yet. Like, I read a lot of thrillers, but I haven't read a lot of good thrillers. And this book was a really good thriller. This is actually my sister's copy. I really like this book. It was so weird because the beginning of this book, I really thought that I wasn't gonna like it. And then, because it just felt so like nothing was really happening. So it was just like a lot of like, I don't know, it was weird because it was like nothing was really happening. But then it got to like, once I started to get bored and I was contemplating like DNFing it, I got to like the first plot twist in the book and I was like, oh my gosh. And then I kept reading and I got to the last plot twist and I was like, oh my god, this book was just good. Like, it was 4 stars. I would have given it 5 stars, but the fact that I was bored throughout the beginning, kind of like, meh. And the plot twist at the end was good, but it wasn't like that good to like give 5 stars to. But I am just like a sucker for plot twists and like good, like, not even just plot twists, but good like killers, if that makes sense. Like, looking back on it and being like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. Like, you know, like I don't know, this was a really good thriller. So if you're looking to get into thrillers, definitely check this one out because I absolutely adored it. The author is trash nonetheless. I don't know if I'll read any more from this author because I recently found out that, first of all, the author is a guy, and I don't know what it is with like authors. Like, with female authors, it makes sense when they change their names to like V.E. Schwab, because she knows that like people won't take her seriously in fantasy because she's a woman. But why do men make their names sound like AJ Flynn? Just seems like such a woman name. And like, why do authors do that? Like, males, like they change their names to be like women, like, because AJ Flynn isn't even his name. So anyways, he also lied about having cancer, so he's kind of trash. So I don't know if I'm gonna read anything else by him, but this was a really good book nonetheless. I reread it, I can't take it back. Next book I have on my list is Get a Life, Chloe Brown. And if you are not new to my channel, you know I've been raving about this book and every chance that I can get. And I really love this book. This book is about a girl named Chloe, and she is fat, and also she has a illness, and she lives on her own in an apartment, and she has this list to basically get a life, and it's basically just simple things like ride a motorcycle. Basically, it's a bucket list. And she lives in this apartment, as I said, and the guy that lives there, his name is Red. Well, he doesn't live there. Like, his best friend's like the superintendent, so he's kind of a superintendent but not really. And yeah, they meet and they actually hate each other because he thinks she's like such a princess and she thinks he's a loser. And I absolutely love that trope within itself, like one person being like the princess and like, oh my gosh, and like the other guy just being like the bad boy. Like, I absolutely love that. And also, this was hate to love, obviously, so I love that even more. And this book was really good. Next on this list is Sorcery of Thorns, and I gave this book 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5 or 4 out of 5, I really don't remember. Anyway, so I really like this book. This book is about a girl named Elizabeth, and she lives in this library. And in the libraries, they have grimoires, and these grimoires are kind of like pets a little bit. Isabella from Phone of Pages described it as like, if you don't brush their like fur on their pages, like they'll get upset and they won't open up for you, like petty things like that. Like, they're like little pets a little bit. And one day she's framed for killing someone, so she gets kicked out, and then there comes in Nathaniel Thorne, and I love him so much. He is my bi/pan king, because a lot of people say he's bi, but the more I think about it, he obviously could also be pan. So, and then there's Silas. I literally thought this book was gonna have a little poly thing going on. I don't care what anybody says, that's canon to me. It's not written in the book, but whatever, who cares. I love all the characters in this book, and the main character also has a sword called the Demon Slayer, and I absolutely stan the Demon Slayer. Like, it doesn't talk or anything, like, it's an inanimate object, and I stan it so much. This book is so good. Like, the book is worth the hype, okay? Next book I have is The Devouring Grave, which is my best friend Jake from Jake Does Books, which you guys should check out his channel. This is his favorite book, and this book is a what is it called? I forgot what it was called. It was like a founder's story. Like, the kids, this girl named Violet moves to this town called Four Paths. Well, her mom lived there before, and her mom's family is like one of the founders of this town. And Violet I don't think she's lived there, but she moves to this town, and there's also 3 other kids who are like founders' families, and they each have like their own powers, and it's really, really good. I just felt like there was something. I gave this book 4.5 out of 5 stars also. I really felt like there was something missing in this book though. Like, I don't really know what it is, but there's definitely something missing in this book. The next book I have on this list is The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness, and I read this book because Julia from my Reader's World raves about this book every chance she gets, so of course I had to check it out. Also, Tom Holland is playing the main character, and I'm obsessed with this man, so I had to read it. I really, really like this book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It was really, really good. The next book I have on this list is a series, and it is the Fever series. This book is about fairies. This book is about a girl who is like a rich white girl, and everything in her life is going perfect until her sister dies, and she finds out, like, she gets like this voicemail from her sister when she was dying. Her sister also lives in Dublin, by the way. And so she has to go to Dublin to figure out like what the heck happened to her sister, and she meets this guy named Jericho Barons, who's like one of the best like characters I've ever read, and he owns this store. I forget what the store is called. It's called Barons Books and something with a B. And I absolutely love this. The Last Magician, and I really, really like this book. This book has time travel, which I did not think I would like, but I absolutely loved it. I really like the main character, and I also like the love interest and the banter that they had. Like, I absolutely adored it. The Wicked Saints, which I also really, really liked. The sequel, first of all, this author may be trash, but she really got, if this cover wasn't as beautiful as it was, I low-key probably not would have not like picked it up. Like, this book is so beautiful, and the whole like everything about this series is just so me. The series is called Something Dark and Holy. Like, the cover is so beautiful. The spine is beautiful. Under the dust jacket is literally everything. The tagline is "Let them fear her." Literally everything about this book is Mayana. Like, why wouldn't I stand this book? I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I absolutely adored it. I really love the characters, especially the prince. His name is like, first of all, he has one eye. He has an eye patch, which is like big. His name is Severin. I get it confused because with the Gilded Wolves, the characters' names kind of sound alike. So I might be saying, I know that like with the Gilded Wolves, the main character's name was Severin, but with this one, I really can't. And then they have another character who reminds me of the Darkling, but I'm just not really loving him as much as the Darkling. This book does have like insta-love. Like, I'm not insta-love, but like they do, I don't know. I just kind of don't like when characters get together within like the first book, or like they have signs of getting together within the first book. I really, really like slow burn. I just really, really like slow burn. And I feel like authors need to, if you're going to be doing a trilogy, like, you need to have them like get together in like the second book or something. But I'm really excited for the second book. It comes out in March. Truth Witch, and this is basically just like a fantasy world at war, and just like all these witches, like, you know, trying to make it through it. And I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. It would have been 5 stars. I love like the witch aspect of it, and how like there were witches for everything, until I didn't like it anymore. Like, then it got to a point where I was just like, there's literally a witch for everything. Like, I won't be surprised if in Wind Witch there's a witch called Bug Witch. Like, literally there's a witch for everything. And at first it was cool, but then it got really repetitive and kind of annoying. But I really liked this book, and it was good. It was quick too. It was very quick. Like, these books are very quick, but it's very good. And they're not hyped a lot on BookTube, which is very weird to me, because it reminds me a lot of Throne of Glass. And I feel like if you like Throne of Glass, you'll definitely like Truth Witch, especially because it's written like slightly better. And the next book I have is Voices, which is a Joan of Arc retelling. Angel hates when in my videos I say that I don't know who Joan of Arc is. I don't really care to know, but I just think that this book was really, really cool. Like, this book was told in so many different perspectives. Literally, there's perspectives told from freaking fire about Joan of Arc. And this book is told in like verse, which I stan. Not verse, but like different kind of, basically, I don't even know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's just really, it's really, really good. Like, it's not told in like story format. Like, each page is told in something different. And like some chapters, like if there's a knife in the shape of a poem, there's a sword. Like, literally, I think this book is so amazing. So definitely check it out. Like, it's also a really quick read. I read this book in literally like 30 minutes. So this is a really quick read. Gilded Wolves by Rashana Chosky. I originally gave this book 5 out of 5 stars, but the more I thought about it, I kind of ended up giving this book 4 out of 5 stars. I feel like I basically gave the book 5 out of 5 stars because it made me cry. But now that I think about it, like, that's all. Like, I really, really like this book. I just felt like something was off about it, and I really don't know what. This book is basically about 6 characters who go through a heist, and no, it is not exactly like Six of Crows. They're 2 different stories, but thank you for asking. I really, really like the characters. Like, the characters are very diverse, but I just feel like they weren't fleshed out enough, you know? They were just like, I feel like they could have been written better, but this also is the first book in a series, so the second book could be a lot better. And I just think this cover is so beautiful, so of course, you know, I had no choice but to stand. And the last book I have on this list is in a series. And I feel like if you've been watching this video and you know how my bookshelves look, you can kind of tell like what this book is. It is Queen of Shadows by Sarah J Maas. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I did not think that I would love this series. I just kept pushing through the series. I don't even know why. Like, literally, I just kept pushing through the series. Like, I read through it in like 1 week, the whole, like, up until this point. And I did not like Assassin's Blade. I didn't care about Assassin's Blade. Stone of Glass was a 3-star. Crown of Midnight was a 3-star. Airfire was a 2-star. I hated Airfire. I hate that book so much. But when I read Queen of Shadows, like, I just got so intrigued with it, and I fell in love with Alien. Like, she is literally one of my favorite characters in this series. And yeah, this book really took me by surprise, and I ended up giving it 5 out of 5 stars. I haven't finished this series yet. I've only read up until this book, but I do plan on finishing it eventually. Just not that good at reading series, so who knows how long it'll take me to get through the rest of the books, but I will, okay? Make sure you follow my social media, which is always linked in the description box. Like, comment, and subscribe to join the cult. Thank you all for 7,000 freaking subscribers, and I hope that you all have a good day.
On the spaceship, I'm a space cadet. Big white bitch in my habitat. Ain't a lot of